Hey everyone, Team Roller here from Boston. We wanted to go over today the difference between a large homeowners association and a small one, some of the pros and cons. So, Torrin, what do you think some of the pros are of a smaller homeowners association?
So a couple pros in my mind is, for one, it's a lot more personal. So if you're in like a 3 to 5 unit building, for instance, or even up to a 10, you really have a much better chance of getting to know your neighbors. If you have, your voice means a lot more. So if you kind of want to apply for a change, maybe something with like pet restrictions or something like that, your voice is going to go a lot further in a smaller group than it would if you were in like a 100+ unit building. So that's huge. Less politics. More likely to be pet friendly and kid friendly, for instance, just because there's less people to kind of get on their good side, for instance. So those are a few things in my mind. But the biggest thing again is just being more friendly with your neighbors and more of an intimate setting where your voice is really heard.
Dante, what would you say some of the negatives of a smaller HOA is?
Yeah, so for starters, you're going to have increased liability from being in a smaller association. That's simply because there's less condos compromised in that building. And kind of spiraling into this also might be, you might have less reserves in there too, simply because of the fact that it is compromised of a smaller building. Typically, buildings that are 5 units and under do have a smaller reserves, which you could have a brand new building and that may not be an issue or may not be a worry to you right up front, but down the line that could be a concern in case something were to go wrong. Following up with this as well, amenity wise, not everybody wants a concierge, but someone might like a pool, you might want some extra storage, or you simply might want some parking, like a parking lot. And a lot of the times the smaller buildings really don't offer that as much. I find personally, myself living in a smaller association as well as my clients. So I see those all the time.
For sure.
And Dante, so what about large homeowners associations? Like what are some of the positives, the pros for that, you think?
I think that the people that want to be in a large association want to have that more luxury lifestyle. It's not all the time. I think you can get luxury in small associations, which we call boutiques. But for the larger portion of HOAs, more amenities is key. And the more amenities you have in a large association, the more bang for your buck you're getting. Yeah. And this starts with concierge. It starts with a pool. You can have, I've seen mini golf courses,
dog wash stations, right?
Dog wash stations. There's a lot to have, and I think the more you can get in a package for that, I think the better off that you'll be and satisfied as well, because you're living in a community. So I think that's really crucial. I think that's kind of the overall package that I see would be beneficial.
Torrin, what do you think about perhaps some of the negatives of a larger HOA, like 50, 100 units?
So to kind of piggyback on what Dante said, as a pro with all the extra amenities, a pool, maybe a fitness center, all these kind of great things that are great, kind of sale features. On the flip side of that, you guys have to realize that you're paying for that stuff. So unless you're going to be using this fitness center and using the pool and using the dog wash station or what have you, your HOAs can be significantly higher than it would be in a smaller building. So where you might find something for $250, $350 for an HOA in a smaller building, people can pay up to $1,000, $1,200 for HOA in a larger building. Of course, yes, you are getting these extra amenities like Dante mentioned, which are great and things you cannot find elsewhere. But again, if you're not using them or if they're not particular things that you need, you're paying a pretty high premium to live there. So that's certainly the main and the biggest con in my mind for a larger association. I know, Jason, you live in one. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I live in an association that's about 120 units, and there is a tendency for the percentage of owner occupancy to fluctuate, at 50% or lower. That's neither here nor there, except for like if you're buying, you probably want a higher owner occupancy, a larger homeowners association. But there is a tendency, I gotta be careful when I say this, for a little less kid-friendly. I have a 2.5-year-old, and there is a lot of noise complaints. At 6 p.m. on a Friday night, hearing a toddler walk across the floor. It's a little ridiculous, but it happens. So thanks for listening, guys. We just wanted to give you the quick pros and cons of this. There's so much more to talk about. Please reach out, DM us, email us. We're happy to chat.